First off, 2 Corinthians 3 does not show that the Ten Commandments are something that was done away with. Secondly speaking, the Ten Commandments were not written in ink. The Ten Commandments were written by the finger of God in stone. What was it that was written in ink, though? What we commonly call the Law of Moses. Here's a comparison made by some friends of mine. The Law of Moses, what we commonly refer to as the ceremonial law, is not the Ten Commandments, which is what we commonly refer to as the Law of God. As you can see, what we call the Law of Moses was written by Moses in a scroll in a book, placed in a side pocket of the ark. The Ten Commandments, far from being written with ink, was written with the finger of God in stone. Of course, it's commonly claimed that Jesus only gave us 2 commandments in the New Covenant, and they're referring to this right here: love God, love your neighbor. However, all you have to do is study where Jesus was quoting from to realize there's not 2 commandments. Jesus is giving us the foundation of the commandments. See, when Jesus said you shall love your neighbor as yourself, he was quoting from here, Leviticus 19:18. And in Leviticus 19, we find indirect context of that, all 10 commandments, and that does include the 4th. When Jesus said love God with all your heart, he was quoting from Deuteronomy 6 verse 5. And indirect context of that, we find all 10 commandments, including the 4th. You see, between the 2 covenants, the 10 commandments didn't change, it didn't go away. The 10 commandments were there in the Garden of Eden before there was ever an old covenant. They were there when Noah and Abraham were called by God to do their missions, before there was the old covenant. And when you look in the New Testament where the Bible writers mentioned what sins were, describing various sins, they mentioned violations of the 10 commandments. For example, in Colossians 3, when Paul said put to death various sins, he didn't say, put to death the opposite of love and faith. Now, he listed various violations of the 10 commandments. When the Bible mentions those in Revelation who won't be in heaven, such as in Revelation 21 verse 8, Revelation 22 verse 15, because it doesn't say, for example, that those who won't be in heaven lacked love. No, it lists violations of the 10 commandments. Honestly, you could no more do away with the 10 commandment law of God than you can do away with God himself. Everything in the Bible that describes God describes his law. So no, Jesus didn't only give us 2 commandments, he showed us what the foundation for the 10 commandments are. And if we truly love him, we won't make excuses to disregard a single one of the 10 commandments, because it is only those who still love sin that make those excuses.